what's up guys? In a previous video we have created our Office 365 tenant, so now it's time to add some users. But before we do that, I just wanted to give you a high-level overview, very quick overview of the identity models that you can have with Office 365, and I will also put a link in the description below so you can dig more into it and get a little bit more familiar if you're new to that. So the first in line that we have is called the cloud identities or cloud IDs. And so this is when users actually reside only in the cloud and are managed only in the cloud. The authentication done by Azure Active Directory, because under the hood, the Azure Active Directory is powering the identity management for Office 365. Then we have the synchronized identities. So in this scenario, you synchronize your on-prem Active Directory objects to the cloud using the AAD Connect, so Azure Active Directory Connect. And this is a free tool given by Microsoft for you to synchronize your objects to the cloud. The management of those users is done on-prem, and you also have the possibility to sync the password hashes to the cloud. Not the passwords, just the password hashes to the cloud. So the user will have the same password to log into Office 365, but they will have to sign in again to use Office 365. This is called the same sign-on. This is not the single sign-on yet. Then the last one is the federated identities. So here it's the same thing. You synchronize your on-prem AD objects to the cloud with AAD Connect. You manage your users on-prem, not in the cloud, and the users have the same password that they use on-prem, and they also don't need to sign in again. So this is the SSO or single sign-on. One thing you have to know is that you're going to need some extra servers to configure the Active Directory Federation services or ADFS if they are not already in place, and this will add complexity and cost to the infrastructure. So it's something you need to be aware of. Now, there is something in the AAD Connect at this time of recording this video, which is called the pass-through authentication. It is still in preview right now. So now what we're going to do, it's time to log into the tenant and create some cloud users. So I'm now logged into the tenant that we have created in a previous video, and I will just give you a quick tour in here. So on the left side, you have the navigation panel where you can actually see and go through different sections of the tenant. So you have the users, where if you expand the menu, you can see active users, contacts, guest users, and so on. You have groups, support, settings, and settings you can, if you go into services and add-ins, you can control what you want users to be able to do. For instance, you can prevent users from downloading the Office suite, or you don't want them to use SharePoint Designer or things like that. You don't want this to be available. And at the bottom, you have the admin center. So if you expand this menu, then you have the Exchange admin center, Skype for Business, SharePoint admin center, and so on. But for now, we're just going to create a cloud user. So I'm going to go into users in here, and I'm going to click into active users. So here you can see that I only have one user, which is the one we created when we created the tenant. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on Add a User in here. And this is actually pretty straightforward. You have different sections that you have to fill. So first name, we're going to continue with the random names. Last name, And then as soon as I click on display name, it's going to give you a display name. You can change it if you want to, but I'm going to leave it like that. Username, so this is going to be used for the user to log on into their Office 365. So I'm just going to put Jendo like that. You would be able to choose the domain that you want to give the user in here, but I haven't verified any domain yet. That would be for some video a little bit later. So that's why I only have one in here. For the location, we're going to leave the UK. We're not going to change that. Again, that would be important regarding some features that Office 365 is offering. Then we're going to go into contact information. So if you scroll down in here, you can just fill a little bit more about this user. So I'm not going to do anything for this one, but feel free to do it if you need to. And then we're going to have password. So it is set on auto generate password right now, but I can actually create a password myself, which I'm going to do now. So it is a strong password, very good. And you can see every time you have some kind of information in here on what you need to do or what this field is for. And then you can choose if you want this user to change the password when they first sign in, which I'm gonna leave it as it is right now. Then roles. So what do you want this user to be able to do? Do you want him to access the tenant? Do you want him to have admin rights? Yes or no? So here we have different roles that you can give to your user. So the first one would be obviously a normal user with no admin access. The second one would be global admin. So meaning that the user can actually access the tenant and do some sort of configuration or whatever you want him to do. So this is the global admin, is the highest admin access that you can give to a user. And then you have the last one is the customized administrator. So as soon as you choose this one, you can see in here that you can be a little bit more granular and give some admin access like an Exchange admin or SharePoint admin without giving a global admin. So remember again, every time we want the least privilege, okay? We don't want to give more access to a user that it actually needs, okay? So in this particular scenario, I'm just gonna let my user be a user, and then I'm gonna go into product licenses. So if I leave it as it is now, which is an enterprise E3 license, I can see here that everything is selected. So I give the user everything that Office 365 is offering with my plan E3. And I can be a little bit more granular. So maybe for some reason, some company reasons, you don't want your users to have access to Power Apps or the Staff Hub, things like this, Microsoft Planner. So you can just turn off some options in here. So Staff Hub, let's try this one, or Microsoft Form or something like that. I want my user to be able to use the Office suite, so I'm gonna leave the Office 365 Pro Plus in here. So you can be a little bit more granular like that. And you can see that at the bottom in here, you can also create a user without a license. So that could be when you are running out of license or things like that for an admin or a support team or things like this. And so once you're finished, you just have to click add. And this is gonna create the user. And you can see, obviously the password is not shown in here. You can send the password to the user. And I'm just gonna click on send email and close. And that's it. So we've created our first cloud users. So I hope to see you in the next video, and we will create users differently and do all sorts of things, because we still need to explore a little bit more Office 365. So stay tuned, and I'll see you later, guys. Employee,